Hello everyone, so welcome back to another demo in UE4. This is a follow-up to the previous one, just on more progress with my demo at the moment, and with progress on the main project. So everything that I'm working on here is applicable to the main project in different ways. Today I spent a while optimizing some of the code. I was running, I think it's 6 event ticks at the same time. It was either 6 or 7 event ticks at the same time, and I didn't actually know exactly how intensive they were on the operating of the code. So yeah, I find out how bad they are for the code with CPU stalls, looking at debug, and now everything's fine more or less with the other part of the project. So having found that out, I found that out through trying to implement optimization in this. So here we have 2 different ways of spinning an object, neither of which will affect the character later on. We have my actual spinning pickup here, which is done with a rotation component. And then we have this one, which is done using the new method for optimization that I've used, which was assigning timers to everything. Sounds really stupid to some people that will watch this, but timers essentially allow you to have more of control over what's fired and how many times it's fired in a given second. And considering event ticks fire every frame of the game being on, it definitely wasn't optimal for me. So this one looks like an event tick, but it's actually a lot less intensive on the impact of the code, which I really liked. Now, let's go through this first. We've got another thing to go into here, which will be related in future, and this is time dilation. And as you can see here, I'm using it to slow-mo my character, but everything in the background isn't going slow still. And then I can speed him up again, and slow him down again. And everything is still moving at the same rate, apart from my character. And this is through custom time dilation hooked up to just this actor. What I'm going to do in future is, because I want the menus to open and nothing to move in the background, apart from certain actors that I still need to rotate, what I'm going to be doing is giving custom time dilation to items and things in the 3D menu, so that they will keep rotating, but everything outside the menus will not move or anything. That way I can avoid AI running into me when they're not meant to. So it's going to be a case of setting all that up in the other part of the project, but it's no big deal. What was a big deal recently was trying to wrap my head around all of this stuff, because I was just getting easily confused about how time dilation works and how timelines would work in terms of optimizing the code. And yeah, it's come out really nicely. Now, to finish this off, I messed around with the code more on the item, so when we pick it up here, we get the floating cube object. But what was going on was I wanted to have a Boolean check for whether the menu was on or not. The reason why is because you'd be able to press the use key outside of the menu like this, and because the menu is actually in 3D space inside the world, like inside the level, just hidden away, what was happening was you could still press the button because the camera was still focused on the widget in the menu, so you'd be able to hit it whatever you want and just activate stuff even if you weren't in the menu. So what I did was I coded in a Boolean to check to see whether the menu is open or not. So when you press F, it sets the menu Boolean to true, and when you press F again, because it's on a flip-flop, it changes the node to false. So outside it, you can't press the use key. When you're inside, you can press it though, and we still get the default, the debug text that I set up last time. But there's a little added extra here. I wanted to see whether I could get stuff hooked up to this, like events, so that I could call an event from this menu and it would work. So for instance, with this one, I did a flashlight or a spotlight, and the idea is that when I press the E key here, because I'm using a button in the menu, it's now going to do something. So we press E, we get debug widget has successfully been pressed, and we see that there's now a green light that's hovering over my character just to show that it's been pressed. Then if I press E again, it turns off. So every time I press this, it'll turn off and on. it won't turn off and on when I'm outside the menu, so it'll stay on when I'm outside the menu. And, as before, I can't press the button when I'm not facing it. So, from this angle, can't press the button. From this angle, I can do, which turns it off again. So, again, that's just another little bit of code for it. I'm going to have to look into whether lots of event calls are problematic or not for the code, and if so, figure out something else for that. If they're not, then it shouldn't be too big a deal. And I've more or less reached the end in terms of basic mechanics to get this thing working. Then it's a case of implementing it into the new parts of the project over time and setting them up to work and making sure they don't interfere with each other. Anyway, hope you guys are enjoying this so far. It's a really crazy ride. It's teaching me a lot about the way that code works, optimization, and the way that each part of the code interacts with each other. And I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye!